ifs with 3 thens, so you can remember them. 3 ifs, 3 thens. The first if you are not in Christ Jesus, or better still, if he is not in you, you are in the hands of the world's greatest terrorist. You are a hostage in his hands if Jesus is not in you. So, first if, first then. If he is not in you, then you are in the hands of the world's most dangerous terrorist. And the unfortunate thing is, you are at his mercy and he does not have mercy. If number 2, if you are in Christ Jesus and you are not closer to the cross, then you are closer to the enemy's continual attacks. Every moment he can reach out to where you are. He can attack you. He can rob you of your joy. He can disrupt your family, your job, your life, your everything. He can at any moment get into your life and stir things up. If number 3, but if you are in Christ Jesus and you are walking close to the cross, if you have presented your body a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, then you are far from the enemy's attack, so you will have steady peace, your minds will be at peace, your life will be stable, because you are covered with the blood of Christ. How did I learn this? I learned this as a school principal in Liberia. When the Civil War broke out and the missionaries could not go back, they promoted, I was vice principal then, but when they couldn't go back, they made me principal of the school with one charge, one responsibility, that I should make sure school-age children should not pick up arms. We should keep them from becoming fighters. And that's a great responsibility in a poor country where people don't have money, people don't have food, and the children got to go out to find food, and when they go out, they fall in the hands of these rebels, and they take them and give them drugs. It was a challenge, but I do my best. Well, what happened is, since these children were used as soldiers, they didn't want them to come to school. So if you keep school open and distracting the children from coming to school, then you too, you become an enemy of the revolution. Thus, I was listed enemy of the revolution. I was arrested. My wife and I were arrested, and we were to be executed with our throats cut. While they were pulling and tossing and arguing our manner of execution, there was noise in one part of the town. We heard this noise. Nobody knew what was going on. And so they said, hold on, maybe we are under attack, so let's find out what's going on. So our issue became secondary. The noise became primary. What happened was that their commander, their general commander, was coming to town just at that moment. He was coming to visit them. So they waited. He came to where we were. And then he saw my wife and I with our 2-year-old son standing in front of them. The very first place his attention went was to us. He asked them, what are you doing with these people? He said, this man is an enemy of the revolution. His wife is our enemy. She is hiding him. So we must execute them because they are enemies of the revolution. And just before we were arrested, they had killed a man and his 2 adult sons. They had cut their throat and their blood was fresh just at the same place where they were going to lay us. The commander said to them, "Why are you doing this? Our purpose here is not to kill everybody. So why are you troubling these people? Let the people go." As I stood there listening, one thing was going on in my mind. Lord, if you don't allow me to be delivered here, the good thing is I know you. So give me peace. And in this case, any argument you bring to prove yourself innocent doesn't count. There's nothing you say to them that makes sense. Once that charge is put on you that you are enemy of the revolution, nothing you say makes sense. So you can argue, you can do anything you want to do, is just foolishness. So the only thing I could do for me and my wife is to ask the Lord to help us, if that's what He wants, or to help us if that's not what He wants. Well, here comes how do you call it? My dear said, just in the nick of time, the commander came and he released us. He told them to let us go. But when you hear that, when you know that in the next minute your blood will be shed and somebody says you go, you know how fast you want to get away from there. Quickly, you need to get out of that place before he changes his mind. So my wife and I, we left the place thinking that, well, it is all over. So we went a little bit far from where they were, from where we were supposed to be killed. But we were staying in Liberia. Well, so long you are staying in Liberia and these same people are still there, you're not fired yet. So my rearrest was put back on the docket. So I was supposed to be rearrested, be brought back and say they can do what they want to do. But what happened is, the night that I was supposed to be arrested, 2 of the people who were supposed to come to arrest me were students in the school. So they came to me and said, "You cannot sleep here. You're not sleeping in this town. You're leaving. Whether you're lucky or not, you can't stay here." Well, what happened? No, we're not going to tell you anything. Don't sleep here. So I didn't know the area where I was. I was born southern Liberia. Now I'm in the northern part of Liberia. I don't know the terrain very well. Now I have to leave town overnight. Where am I going? What do I know? I can't get in any car. So I got to get on the road for 21 days, walking through bushes, trying to avoid gates where I could be arrested. That's when the 23rd Psalm came live to me. The Lord is my shepherd. I don't need any more help. He helped me through that. Now, when I left, when I went through that, I couldn't stay in Liberia anymore, so I had to go outside of Liberia. I got to go further, a little far from the rebel base. So I went into Ivory Coast. It was only there. Now that I'm in another country, they have no right to cross the borders to arrest me. In Jesus Christ, when you cross the border of the enemy, his power to chase you shut down. The blood of Christ laid that boundary, here and no more. That's when I understood when Paul says, "From now on, let no one trouble me, because I am crucified to the word, and the word unto me. I've given up this life, it's no longer mine, I give it to Christ." The closer you get to the cross, the better it will be for you. If you stay closer to the enemy's territory, again, demons and all these things can come around you and they can bother you, they can trouble your life. You will be a Christian, no problem, no, there's no question about that. You are still a Christian. But what happens is, as C.S. Lewis puts it, he will use daily pinpricks to keep your life in a mess. He will use little things, bucking you, pushing you up and down, no joy, no peace, you are depressed, your mind go after this, all of that. But when you get closer to the cross, when you set your minds on Him, He gives you peace. The joy of the Lord becomes your strength. And that is what the Lord is. He is my strength. And I'm seeking Him daily to get closer to Him. I don't just want to have the form of Christianity, but I also want to experience the power. So let me leave you with this. Paul says this, that I may know Him and the power of His resurrection, being made conformable unto His image. That is what He wants us to be. That we may know Him in such a way that we get closer to Him, we get intimate with Him. Then and only then we can experience the peace of Christ. God bless.
Amen. Yes.